General Alejandrino had was very close to Jose Rizal and General Antonio Luna. He studied with Rizal in Ghent, Belgium. They shared the same room together. They traveled together in Europe. Luna also became my granduncle's friends due to the war. My granduncle was an engineer, so he was actually the chief engineer of Aguinaldo's army. So he built all the fortification of the trenches in Kalampit, Bagbag, and when the battles occurred in that area, he was fighting on the side of General Luna. After Rizal was executed by the Spaniards, General Alejandrino and his two brothers, Joaquin and Pastor, and his three first cousins, Mamertito, Salvador, and Benito Natividad Alejandrino, all joined the revolution. They went into exile with Aguinaldo in Hong Kong, and Aguinaldo entrusted my granduncle with buying arms from Japan to continue the revolution, and also with negotiating the alliance with the American Commodore George Dewey, who was the head of the U.S. Asiatic Squadron. They met in Hong Kong. And when Dewey sailed at the outset of the month of May 1898 to destroy the Spanish fleet in Manila Bay, he brought along my granduncle on board one of his ships, the Zafiro. And so my granduncle was the only Filipino who witnessed the Battle of Manila Bay. Of course, when the Philippine-American War broke out, my granduncle, his brothers, and his first cousins all joined the fight against the Americans. That was how General Alejandrino got involved in the fight in the Philippine-American War. The one thing that has always struck me about our history books is that people speculate about how Luna was killed, who killed Luna, what happened to the fortune, the treasure of the revolution, and so forth and so on. Nobody was really able to pinpoint definitely who were those involved. Mainly, I suspect, because with the exception of my granduncle, there was no eyewitness to all the major events that happened. My granduncle was one of those who witnessed all the events. I mean, starting from the time of Rizal, going all the way to being exiled in Hong Kong, all the way to the naval battle of Manila Bay, all the way to the Philippine-American War. And there were many stories about my granduncle, because he was involved in so many things, including the negotiation of exchange of prisoners with Americans. So he was really a central figure in our history of that period, because he saw everything happening. He was in direct contact with all the major historical figures. He knew what happened. The only thing, as I said, because out of delicadeza, he didn't write a big book about everything that happened. Because, as I said, he considered many of them as his friends and comrades in arms. But he left it, I suppose, to his nephew, my father, and to who passed it all these stories to me, so that one day I could relate what really happened based on those stories. And as I said, I tried to write a very objective book. It's not for me to judge who was right or wrong. It's for the reader, based on what I relate in my book, to judge for themselves. I wrote in my book, I used Miguel de Cordoba, one of my main fictional characters, as the character who interacted with major historical figures like Aguinaldo and Quezon instead of my granduncle, because it would have been self-serving if the whole book was about my granduncle. So I used that vehicle, using a fictional character. But the discussions and the conversations that went on between my fictitious fictional character, Miguel de Cordoba, and the real historical figures are based on the conversations that my granduncle actually had with these same historical figures.